Salams and welcome. Thank you for joining me, part number 21 in this Ansari series. And we look at this magnificent lecture by Dr. Maulana Fazlur Rahman Ansari, where he's addressing a multicultural audience lecture. But it is talking about religion and the role of religion in society and how we can solve problems for society. So even though this lecture was given in 1972, the topics, the problems are still the same as we are seeing today. And let's listen further to this amazing lecture. And please share it with others as well. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Always comes against any value it can come when there is lack of understanding. This is again a fact of human nature. If there is only hypocrisy and there is no truth behind the behavior of a certain person, and that person or that community or that group is trying to pose, is trying to project itself as the very upholders of truth, but truth actually is not there, revolt is bound. Similarly, if there is any obstacle from any side in the natural progress of human thought, in the natural progress of human relations, then you cannot expect peace to be there. What I am aiming at is that this particular situation which has emerged and which has been responsible for this permissive society to appear and for things in the moral field going from bad to worse, it is actually due to deficiency on the part of those like me who say that in religion lies salvation. This salvation has got to be shown. This salvation has got to be proved. This salvation has got to be brought right here on the face of this earth, in order that human beings may be able to see that we are not just deceiving them. They may be able to see the truth behind it. And that truth for which we stand, if we are Christians, we should stand in the real spirit of Jesus Christ. If we are Muslims, we should stand in the real spirit of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. If we are Jews, we should stand in the real spirit of Moses and Abraham. If we do not do it, and if we just carry labels, and if we fall short of all that was preached by these great personalities, very naturally other ideologies are bound to emerge. My friend also spoke about Karl Marx. Although I disagree with Karl Marx totally, but I feel that to Karl Marx must be given the credit of being honest where others were dishonest. The philosophy of materialism was holding sway in the Western world, and the only work of Karl Marx was, the only contribution of Karl Marx was to bring it to its logical climax. Injustices were there in the Western world where Karl Marx was born. Nobody was talking in terms of welfare of the common man. Capitalism was ruling the roost, and man was trying to exploit man. If these circumstances had not been there, there would have been no Karl Marx. Necessity is the mother of invention. The moment there is need, that need is fulfilled by the law of nature. And as we all know in science, action and reaction are equal and opposite. Consequently, if there was on the one hand this capitalistic extreme of social injustice, where wealth was accumulating, making a few people more and more rich, and the others more and more poor, it was but natural that the other extreme should also emerge. And
yeah, Dr. Fazlur Rahman Ansari makes a beautiful remark that capitalism on its own is extreme. There's evils in capitalism, there's good in capitalism. Socialism on its own is also evil, there's extremes. So there's extremes of capitalism are evil, extremes of socialism are evil. Capitalism sounds fine, but it's also problems with it. Socialism sounds fine, but there's also a problem with it. Whereas Islam gives a solution, the hybrid model, which is known as philanthropic capitalism, where Islam encourages you to earn as much money as you get, become as wealthy as you get, but remember there is a share of the poor in your wealth. 2.5% of your money goes to the poor, the widows, the orphans, the needy, and that is where Islam provides a solution to the world between the extremes of capitalism and socialism. And remember, we cannot remove capitalism from society because it's a reward-risk ratio. Islam encourages entrepreneurship. Islam encourages to use your brain to become an entrepreneur of society, develop big businesses, but remember that that money, part of your wealth, belongs to the poor people. For example, if you have a wealthy person, wealthy Arab who's got 100 million rand, to every year 2.5 million rand, that Arab must give it away to the poor people. Let's continue listening to this.
That extreme emerged in the form of the Marxist socio-economic philosophy. And when he was challenged by the men of religion that he was wrong, he said, all right, everything is now being denied by me. I am also an enemy of the church. Not only an enemy of the church, but I am also an enemy of all that the church stands for. This might be considered as obstinate. This might be called as perversion. But whatever it is, it was a reaction, and it was bound to be extreme in the same manner in which that rabid materialistic capitalism, which had not the slightest touch of Jesus Christ in it, in towards Karl Marx, not because they loved him, but because they feel that they can find a way out of that misery in which they are placed. Here, to say that what Christianity teaches is something which, God forbid, is against the human interest, no. It teaches the highest morality, but it is for the followers of Christianity to put those high moral ideals into practice. If they had put those high moral ideals into practice in the Western countries, as I said, I'll say it again, Marxism and Karl Marx would never have been there. And this great calamity which now hangs over our heads would not have been there. When I say over our heads, I am speaking of all mankind. Because Marxism is a challenge to all those higher values for which the great teachers of mankind have stood, whether they were teachers of Hinduism or Buddhism or Christianity or Judaism or Islam. So the challenge has come, and the challenge is there, and because that materialism which was there already, those great materialistic thinkers were already there in the West, whose godfather was Darwin, who set the ball rolling by giving his his theory of mechanical causation and his application in the field of biology, and then he was followed once the ball was set rolling.
Okay, we'll pause there for today as to when the wrong notions of evolution by Charles Darwin was then arisen in the late part of the 19th century, 20th century. Stay well, look after yourself. Join me in the next episode, which is episode number 22. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. How do we off this?